Hi, I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you. When I started doing this a few years ago, it was just for fun. I'd been writing reviews of games on sites like GameFAQs, but when I saw what Nostalgia Critic, Obscurus Lupa, Linkara, Angry Joe, Pushing Up Roses, and who knows how many others were doing, I realized I could put my own stuff out there along with my own weird form of humor and maybe make some people smile. Since then, more than 300 of you have decided to subscribe. I can't tell you what that means to me. Some of you have been here from the beginning, and that boggles my mind. What is wrong with you? I mean, thank you so much. To celebrate breaking the 300 mark, I offer this video of a one-off game that I've always liked. So without further ado, let's take a look at Turning Point: The Fall of Liberty. This game has the most unique premise I have ever seen. I'll let it speak for itself. On December 30th, 1931, a then obscure British diplomat named Winston Churchill was struck by a taxi while visiting New York City. Though he spent the rest of his life walking with a cane, Churchill survived. As a brilliant statesman and shrewd politician, he went on to lead England as Prime Minister during the dark years of World War II, preserving Britain through the sheer force of his personality and resolve. But what if Churchill hadn't survived? In this alternate world, without Churchill to lead the British people and keep them strong, the Germans won the Battle of Britain and conquered the British Isles. No American entry into the war, no D-Day, no fall of Berlin. Hitler wins. He owns all of Europe. Guess who's next? Your name is Dan Carson. You're a construction worker up on the high steel in New York City when the Nazis attack. Why do we have to switch to third person to go down a ladder? It's the same going up. Naturally, this means you can't use a ladder to sneak up on somebody because the scene has to switch viewpoints as you get on and off the thing. But the places where there might be a chance to do that are very few, so I guess it's not too big a loss. We did it again there. When you grapple an enemy, it goes into third person. Why? At any rate, once you have him, you decide with the D-pad what to do with him. If there's other enemies around, you can hold him as a human shield, or you can do what we did there. You make your way to an impossibly slow elevator, and while it's inching its way to the ground, you can take out some German paratroopers. At least until that happens. Notice what happened there at the bottom and be prepared for it. This is one of those games that shifts everything into slow motion if there's an explosion, a hard fall, or anything else that knocks your health into the gray range too quickly. It's annoying, it's unnecessary, and it's all over the place. But now we have ground troops to deal with. You get some more of that as you work your way through a bunch of rubble. You emerge onto the street to see this. The Germans are still using blimps to ferry stuff across the Atlantic and patrol occupied areas. Why they use blimps instead of helicopters or some such is never explained, but it sets the stage for the last part of the game, so just go with it. We're still learning some moves, and as we do, we finally get to the street.
You there! You! With the gun! We're setting up a counterattack! Hop in if you want to help!
That explosion didn't look like a victory to me, but okay then. I made it to the street, started heading toward a counterattack, and apparently got buried under several tons of rubble. A few more victories like that and I'll be dead. I hope that's what we're going for. A National Guard sergeant takes charge, and with you and a few others, he sets up a barricade to try and keep the Nazis from advancing any further. The Germans bring in a pair of armored personnel carriers loaded with soldiers, but once you're on that machine gun in front of you, they're easy to deal with. Then this thing comes along. Again, get on the machine gun and they're easy to deal with. It's even easier when the second blimp appears. They won't be ziplining anywhere. Clear out a few stragglers and it's objective complete. You've successfully defended the barricade against the Nazi attack. Except for a sniper somewhere who seems to be using a silencer because I didn't hear any shots. Turns out there's a bunch of paratroopers on a roof nearby, so your next task is to take them out.
Come on, they're attacking the barricade! Follow me!
Just as soon as you do all that again, because there wasn't a single checkpoint anywhere in that entire sequence. Wait a minute, not even with the completed objective? Shouldn't that be an automatic checkpoint? Not in this game. The checkpoints that do happen don't seem to have any pattern, certain type of placement, or any rhyme or reason for when they appear and when they don't. Don't expect to see them in the places you'd think they'd most likely happen, because they won't. To get through this game, you have to figure on finishing the entire level in one sitting without dying, because there might or might not be a checkpoint somewhere in there that respawns you past the stuff you've already done. If you do die, plan to do the entire level over again. And if by chance you don't have to, be happy about that. Take your little victories where you can get them. It took me 5 tries to figure out where the roof was that I was supposed to go clear.
Over here!
That's where the checkpoint is? Not right after I finished the previous objective, but around the corner and down the street? As I said, no rhyme or reason. Well, let's get up there. That happens a lot too, and at all kinds of odd places like this one. I'm out of bullets, so I'll just grapple this guy. Move in on him and hit B. What? Why isn't it working? I'm supposed to be able to grab this guy and use him as a human shield, but it won't even let me get started. What's going on? That turned out to be an ongoing problem. It would only give me the grapple prompt about half the time, and I couldn't see any reason why it sometimes didn't work. If you're in a situation and the game gives you the prompt, go for it. But trying to initiate it like I did there probably isn't a good idea. And since there's no actual melee command, the only alternative is to find a way to shoot him. So be it. Climb down from there and you're at another barricade. This one has a big problem.
Carson, help us out here! Get down that manhole and take the tank from below!
Take the tank how? Does it have a secret hatch so I can sneak in? Oh, apparently I picked up a time bomb somewhere along the way. It's a little busy work, but I've seen lots worse. At least this one includes a little mini game with the colors. Spoiler, you always want to connect the colors from top to bottom. If you try to do one out of sequence, it does this fizzle thing that you really don't want to see. Back on the other side where you started, the Nazis have another tank. They've blown through the barricade and now they're charging. I took the opportunity to try the human shield trick. That worked pretty well, that time. Just about every other time I used that move, the other soldiers couldn't care less about their comrade and would pretty much kill him immediately. Like that. You keep fighting at the barricade until this happens.
Retreat! We can't fight that thing! Everyone to the subways!
Once again, the game calls this victorious.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The cities of New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. have been the targets of attacks without warning by German forces. The death toll is not yet known. We have scattered reports of fighting all along the eastern seaboard. We are now being instructed by a unit of National Guardsmen to evacuate.
Sounds like a good idea. You should probably go ahead and evac. Meanwhile, out on the street, there's a machine gun nest up the road that's causing trouble, and you're elected to take it out. It won't be easy, especially with these things in the neighborhood. As long as you stay out of the light, they won't bother you, but they wander by periodically, so watch out for them. You can usually tell they're coming by the giant fart sound. I don't know why they make that noise, just go with it. Notice how slowly I'm moving here, totally exposed to the machine gun. I'm supposed to be using a special sprint command where I use the forward stick while holding the left bumper to run fast. You can see how well it's working. This was another one that only worked about half the time, and every time I tried to use it in this sequence I got no response. A couple of levels later it started working consistently, but this is where I'm supposed to be learning how to use it. It's hard to do that when it doesn't respond. That's what it's supposed to look like. That takes you to where you can climb onto a roof above the machine gun nest. You also discover that you have a helper.
Careful! Those assault blimps are on patrol. Don't let those spotlights catch you.
Okay, had a helper. now you need to get to the subway station so you can catch a train to DC. Why? Because the NPC said so. We've done some hand-over-hand stuff on some wires and pipes and stuff, and now it's time to do the shimmy. That takes you through some fairly convoluted places, which brings me to one of the things I really like about this game. There's pretty much nothing in the instructions or the environment to tell you where to go next, and that can get frustrating at times. Unless you know Irving's Law, because this game is a classic example of it. Irving's Law, if you don't already know, says, if you don't know where to go, follow the bad guys. If you're not sure which way to go, look for the path that takes you to more enemies. It's the right way, every time. If things are quiet that you can hear fighting somewhere, try to find it. That's the next area you're headed for. It's unnervingly consistent, and it does make the game easier to figure out once you realize what's happening. So we keep following the bad guys over roofs, under collapsed roads, through bombed out buildings, to grandmother's house we go. I mean, to the subway station we go. Alright, I made it. Now what do I do? Find a way back up. How about those stairs I just came down? That doesn't make sense. What it's supposed to mean is fight your way through all these destroyed tunnels and cars to get to your actual rendezvous point. After a lot of basic gameplay cum maze running, for the last part we get a cool new toy. Hey, how come my laser can't go through walls? After that, it was time to fight with the other command that gave me the most trouble in this game. This was an issue throughout the game. You're supposed to be able to walk up to an object like that, hit the right button, and your guy climbs up onto it. You saw how many tries it took, and when it finally did work, I have no idea why. As far as I could tell, I didn't do anything any differently that time than I did any other. A little earlier, I actually had to wander away from the target surface and come back to it before the climb command would work. Not only is it annoying, at the wrong time it can get you killed when you're trying to climb over something to avoid enemy fire. It's a big problem. Once you reach the streets, you take to the rooftops again. This guy just cannot seem to grasp what a subway is. Actually, it's maze time again. You worm your way across some rooftops and down through a bombed out building and some other weird passageways until you come out here.
You one of Callahan's men? All right, we need to get to the train station. Grab that sniper rifle. It may come in handy.
I'm holding a sniper rifle, and this one has an infrared scope. I get the feeling you're telling me to downgrade. But my other weapon was out of ammo, so I figured I may as well swap it. Or not. He tells me to grab the sniper rifle, then the game won't give me a prompt to do so. Because I already have one? But why should that matter? I don't know what's going on here, but I gave up and moved along with what I had. Turns out that was a good thing because the task was to eliminate some enemy snipers. Since they were using the same kind of scopes, it was easy to find them and take them out. Further on, I was using it to take out some regular ground troops when this happened. Once again, I have no idea what's going on here. He's exposed, and by all appearances my shots are hitting him, but they're having zero effect. Why? This game is riddled with glitches like that. And this. That shot was nowhere near him, but it killed him. If I have to choose, I'll take that kind of glitch over the other one. Thank you. Good grief, I got my wish. You make it to where the National Guard is, but that assault blimp has been a pain in your butt since the level started. Time to do something about it. What's it look like I'm trying to do? Swipe left? You want to do this? Are you even watching this? See that big Bernie thing over there? I did that, okay? Now will you please shut up? It's an easy walk to the train where you hop on and watch the ruins of New York go past as you wonder if this really is the end of America.
You may find it safer to stay indoors in these times of turmoil. There are mounting reports of fighting between civilian insurgents and occupying German forces up and down the occupied East Coast. German propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels announced this morning that U.S. President Thomas Dewey and Vice President Haley will be stepping down from office immediately. No reason was given. Speaker of the House James Edward Stevenson was sworn in as the new president shortly thereafter. In his first act in office, he announced America's surrender, calling for all American armed forces to stand down. Moments ago, we received word that General George Donnelly, in defiance of Stevenson's orders, led a raid on the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., where Minister Goebbels was stationed. Donnelly was captured and faces charges of treason and possible execution. Perhaps Donnelly's actions will serve as a rallying cry to resistance forces still battling the Nazi occupiers. This is Lloyd Edwards, signing off.
I think I have an idea what our next mission is. First, though, we have to defend the safe house we're in because the Germans are sweeping the neighborhood looking for people like us. The fight's going well until they bring in a tank.
What the hell do we do?
What do you do when a tank is aiming at you? Maybe start with get away from the window? But it's a little late for that now. You head out, moving across rooftops and other places until you find a rocket launcher. Use it to take out the tank, then move on. It's good for that, too. One to go. have no words. I could not tell you what that was all about. Pressing on, you get to a safe house that'll get you to a route to your actual destination. I wasn't even completely exposed to the window when he started shooting. How trigger happy are these guys? At least I did a good job of taking him out. Look what I did to him. And that, my children, is how Dan Carson went on to invent the bobblehead. But there's still somebody down there shooting at me. More precisely, he was shooting at the windowsill. I don't want to know what it did to him. You work your way through the building, sometimes rescuing people as you go. Oops, did I do that? I've got to see that in slow motion. Actually, based on where I was pointing, my shot didn't hit either of them, but they both went down. Probably best just to leave it at that. A lot more basic gameplay as you move from street to street, still trying to get to your rendezvous point behind a barber shop. I had this street cleared except for one guy who was still shooting at me. In case you can't see it in the video, those shots are coming from the brick wall. They're actually going through it. Curse you, German technology! Okay, why do it right when you can do it again? Those guys distracted me, so I didn't see whether my grenade got that guy on the roof or not. I guess there's only one way to find out. I'm not getting shot at, so I'll take that as a yes. On we go, past another street full of Germans and into a garage of some kind. In this area, there's these green barrels sitting around. When you shoot one, it does this. That sound means it is not safe to give to Nazi soldiers. Next, you overload the pressure system in this place, which blows a hole in the wall so you can move on to your objective. So we're here at the rendezvous point with a truck. What are we doing? We're breaking into this prison building to rescue the general and get out of there. The general is a badass in his own right and is actually helpful in getting out. But once you get out, he seems to think it's time to pose for a painting. Okay, General, it's time to go. General? General? Hey! Hey, General! Oh, yes, that's much better. Come on! No, that's definitely your good side. I'm out of here. You'll have to leave without him, because by the time you get to the bottom of the ladder, he's already in the truck and you've got mission success. Because he can do that. That's why he's a general and you're not.
Former General George Donnelly is no longer in custody and claims he will continue to fight the foreign invaders. Donnelly charges that the German government has developed the prototype for a new type of doomsday weapon, an atom bomb, capable of destroying an entire city with a single blast. German officials have refused to acknowledge the existence of the bomb and its scheduled testing on a major American city. Meanwhile, President Stevenson called Donnelly's charges, quote, ridiculous hearsay from a known traitor, but refused to comment on the weapon himself.
Everybody in the room agrees that this guy isn't the president, so they're gonna kill him. Tonight. I wonder who they'll pick to do the actual deed.
Carson, you're the best shot. Make us proud.
What a remarkable surprise. Fighting your way into the White House is straightforward gameplay. The Germans have actually set up a couple of huge concrete bunkers with machine guns around the place, and you have to clear them out. Okay, that works. Once you've cleared the bunkers and blown a hole in the barricade beyond them, you learn that you're going in alone. Another remarkable surprise. Fight your way into the building, clear out a kitchen, and then you ride a dumbwaiter to the upper floors. After you take out a few guards, you realize you're fighting ghosts. Where is all that coming from? This was the second time that happened. I heard massive firefight noises, but there was nobody there. Fight on past the ghost soldiers and the real ones, and you reach the Oval Office.
No, don't shoot. Please, don't shoot. What is it you want? You're one of those resistance fighters, right? Listen, I'm doing the best I can to make sure that we retain what freedom Americans are used to. The Germans don't...
Impeached. I like that. The only thing left to do is skedaddle, but the Nazis really don't want you to leave. You reach the exit and away you go. The rest of your team set some explosives to cover your escape. They may have gone a little overboard with that.
I'm Lloyd Edwards with a national bulletin. This evening, German officials issued a statement from Berlin responding to the assassination of President James Stevens by saying, quote, American dissidents require a demonstration of consequences for committing acts of aggression against the state. While you ponder what these ominous words may mean, consider this. Documents found in the White House confirm the existence of a secret laboratory beneath the Tower of London where Germany's atom bombs are being developed. Also discovered was a detailed plan for testing the completed superweapon on New York City. Though the Reichschancellor denied the existence of the bomb, this reporter urges all U.S. citizens in the tri-state area to evacuate immediately.
Considering we blew the White House to bits, I'm not going to ask where somebody found these documents. Guess where our next mission is going to take us. You parachute onto the roof of the Tower of London while the rest of your team goes off to attack the Parliament building as a diversion. Step 1, clear the roof. The missions usually start off like this, with you using the Thompson. If you've seen my World War II game reviews, you know what I think of the Thompson. Nothing in this game has changed my view. So you know what I mean when I say, no way is this thing that accurate at that distance. Still, I got the guy so I won't complain. For now. Time to head inside.
Carson, look for anything out of the ordinary. Something that doesn't belong. The weapons lab might even be underground.
Something that doesn't belong. You mean like all these goons in Nazi uniforms? You battle your way down using any means you can to clear out the bad guys. Four enemies with one grenade. Well, I did say any means. That was certainly effective. This place is a chapel of some kind, and after you clear it out, you discover there's something that doesn't belong, all right. No, besides the machine gun. That's an elevator that takes you to the underground lab. There are several areas that you'll have to deal with, and as far as I can tell, it's not necessary to do them in any particular order. I decided to start with the security office. I dropped that grenade pretty much right beside him and it didn't take him out. Explosions are weird in this game. On the one hand, you have one that I didn't even see that takes out 4 enemies. On the other hand, you can super glue one to a guy's ear like I did there and it has pretty much no effect. I kept watching and analyzing and I can't find any kind of pattern to this. Like a lot of other things, I have to chalk it up to sloppy programming. This is the way to the engineering lab where the bombs are being made. You go along, clearing each room in its turn until you get here.
You're an American. You must have heard about the bombs. They just took one of the prototypes. It's complete and fully functional. Do you understand? I'm a dead man as soon as they don't need me. I'll tell you how to destroy these 2 other bombs. Just help me get out of here.
He shows you how to destroy the other 2 bombs sitting there, which means setting a charge the same way we've done all game, and then he says he'll meet you at the elevator. There are other scientists who aren't here by choice, and he's going to try and get them out. You fight your way back through those areas and get to the elevator where he's waiting.
Uh-oh, the elevator's here on its own. This could get ugly.
Because it's just been so gall-darn purty up to this point. Okay, I thought he meant the elevator would be full of soldiers. Now I'm not sure what he means. I assume it's down here because those guys I just shot wrote it down here so I could shoot them.
Sergeant, there's a group of Germans headed to the tower. Might be trouble. We're regrouping and coming to you.
I have no idea what he just said except we're coming to you. I hope the rest wasn't important. Apparently it wasn't, because that's the end of the level. I listened to that a dozen times and I still don't know what he said. Maybe the actor knew it was a throwaway line, so he just said argle fargle blargle. That's what I do, which is why I'm not a voice actor.
Sarge, Gamble here. The Germans suddenly left us alone. We followed at a safe distance and saw them load up the atom bomb on the Zeppelin. But they're making some emergency repairs or something. It's docked at the top of the bridge right now.
And we don't have much time before they leave. Field teams, beeline to the bridge. Everyone, do the best you can. Now get moving.
The mission is pretty straightforward. Get on the Zeppelin. The first obstacle, a gunboat that's so determined to get you, it's pretty well destroying the whole structure that you're on. You know, the one that holds the Zeppelin down and lets the technicians and mechanics get on and off of it. So we need to get Captain Ahab off our butts. Fortunately, somebody left a rocket launcher sitting around here. Now that that's done, you can move on. They were bugging me. We're down in the bowels of London Bridge now, and as we come up out its esophagus, we get word that there are tanks coming our way. You need to raise the bridge and stop them. Make your way to the control room and it's mini puzzle time. There's a bunch of levers in here, but which one raises the bridge? That's the puzzle. Gee, that was hard. That was most enjoyable. Then again, smashing up the enemy stuff usually is. Now we need to get to the top of the bridge where the Zeppelin is parked. Of course, it won't be easy. Did you see that? This game feels like it has to let you know when you've finished off an enemy. Usually he'll make a noise, or you'll hear a body fall, or you'll see him fall with Oscar-worthy drama. But did you see what happened there? I'll zoom it in so you can see it better. I really don't know what to say to that except what was in that grenade. Take an elevator up and you find yourself in a bombed out area where you have to go outside and shimmy along a ledge. There's a flat spot here and that next ledge is where I'm supposed to go, so I guess I need to climb up. Then again, once you find the sweet spot where you can actually climb up, spoiler, it's right when you first get to that gap. You can hop onto the next ledge and keep going. Not very subtle, but adequate. This is the catwalk structure that takes you to the Zeppelin itself. This genius is standing there firing a rocket launcher at you and blowing the crap out of the whole structure. You know, the one holding the Zeppelin in place. The one he's standing on. It's a good thing I shot him before he hurt himself. There's a couple of those blimps off to the right, and eventually you'll use that guy's rocket launcher to take him down. Oh, the humanity. That's nifty. I wonder if they made it up themselves. And it's a good thing you have the rocket launcher because the Zeppelin has some pretty nasty defenses of its own. Bullets aren't doing anything. Time for the rocket launcher. Nazi technology has advanced to the point where when you blow one of those turrets up, it just comes off smooth and leaves the rest of the Zeppelin untouched. Man, they're good. There's 2 more, and once you take them out and deal with a couple more foot soldiers, your way to the Zeppelin is clear. You come out in a motor pool, or come in a motor pool. You're in a motor pool. There's lots of tanks and trucks sitting around, and there's also lots of fuel barrels sitting around. You know what that means. It's a pretty good firefight to get through here, so find the barrels and use your imagination. In other words, blow stuff up to your heart's content. Getting through here takes you to an elevator.
Carson, I hope you're on the move. Remember that the Zeppelin will be heavily guarded. Your odds will be better if you can stay quiet.
I can try, but these guys just have to see the tip of my nose and they know I'm an enemy and start shooting.
Now listen, the fate of New York, no, all of America, is in your hands. Good luck, Carson.
No pressure, except the whole country turns to crap if you fail. Have fun now, and remember, stay quiet. As I said, the tip of my nose. Blast them to smithereens as quietly as you can and move on. That time it wasn't even the tip of my nose, it was the tip of my weapon. And it's a German weapon. Why would they throw a grenade at the first sight of one of their own weapons? It was about this time that I figured out what's going on. It's not a line of sight thing. If any part of me crosses a plane, it's their cue to start attacking. I don't think I've ever seen a game do that before. Newsflash, it sucks. Don't do it anymore. He's not there anymore, I guess. Moving on. Okay, where is this guy? I didn't see anybody. Huh? What was that? He was in this hallway, and he threw a grenade out the door as I went by, and it went nowhere, and he blew himself up. You know the best part? I died further on and had to do this again, and he did the same thing. This is not a smart person. Too bad I couldn't shoot him before he hurt himself. There's an office behind him. In there you find a very nice sniper rifle. The next area is a hangar deck with lots of planes, fuel barrels, and even bombs. Oh yeah, let's do this. That last guy is in a control room with bulletproof glass, so don't even bother. There's plenty of bad guys and destructible stuff to keep you busy for a while. One guy came at me, so I grabbed him and used him as a human shield. That's how it's been going through most of the game. Hey, he's got Fritz! He's using him as a human shield! Well, sucks to be Fritz. Bang! That just never gets old. Now it's down to 2 guys in the control room. Still can't shoot him. How do we get over there? Like this, of course. The nice thing about that bulletproof glass is they can't shoot me either. Inside, you pull a lever that opens the door to the next area. That looks like a working plane. That could come in handy later. Oh, I'm going! I'm really going! Don't believe me? I'm really going! I'm gone! It's like watching a bad play. Other times it's like the shooting gallery at the fair. Or maybe some perverted version of whack-a-mole. And sometimes I'm not sure what's going on. I think he's going to stand there all day. Excuse me, I need to get in there. Thank you. You keep making your way toward the bomb bay.
Carson, you should be able to see New York on the horizon any minute. If you haven't built the bomb, you're almost out of time.
I have no idea what he said, but since most of what he says is meaningless anyway, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. This brings you to the control room for the Zeppelin itself. Once you clear it, you head to the bomb bay. This place is deserted, so all you have to do is figure out what to do about the bomb. Best I could figure, the plan is to drop it into the ocean without arming it, thus sending it to the bottom and rendering it useless. There are several items to interact with here, and you have to figure out what order to do them in order for it to work. Those guys blasted the mechanism to pieces, so now the bomb is laying on the deck with no way to move it. Nice going, guys. Once you take care of them, what do? Your job is to destroy the bomb and keep them from dropping it on New York. They can't drop it, there's nobody left on the Zeppelin to do it, and even if there was, the crane is destroyed so they can't even lift it. The best thing to do now is go down to the control room, radio the resistance, and tell them you're bringing them one heck of a prize.
Selbstzerstörungssequenz aktiviert.
I completed it? By doing what? I pushed that button which opened this panel. I did something in the panel and that finished the game. What did I do?
10, 9, 8,
Carson, everything all right up there? You take care of it?
4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's it. Carson decides the best way to destroy the bomb is to set it off right then and there. So he sets the fuse, then sits down to await the inevitable.
Ahem.
Oh, thank God. What took you so long?
I beg your pardon?
I knew you had to show up for that one. With an ending like this, there's no way you're not furious.
Well, I wouldn't say furious, but now that you mention it, it does seem decidedly out
of character, am I right?
Well, yes, you see, up to now he's been
the toughest SOB on the planet. He don't stop for nothing.
Do you mind?
Oh, sorry. The microphone is yours.
It should be. I paid for it. up to this point, he has been a paragon of relentlessness. No matter what the odds, he finds some way to turn it to his advantage and complete his mission. Now he is at the ultimate goal of his entire process, and his only solution is to sit down and blow himself up. It simply does not track.
I know, right? Those geniuses who came in and started shooting up the room destroyed the track mechanism they needed to get the bomb positioned over that hole so the Germans can't drop it even if they do reach New York.
And it appears that he has eliminated all opposition on the entire Zeppelin, so he has ample time to study the device with a view to disarming it.
And if he can't do that, he's already cleared out the Zeppelin's control room, so all he has to do is go down there, point it straight toward the ocean, and then get out of Dodge.
And how do you propose that he do that?
Remember that working plane that I stopped to look at on the hangar deck?
Ah, well played, sir. Another alternative? Turn the Zeppelin around, return to Hitler's bunker, and
cram it right up Hitler's...
Something to that effect, yes. The possibilities are endless.
Whoa, dudes, check out the peace vibes in here. All together, come on. Kumbaya, my dudes. Kumbaya.
I say make it stop!
Bummer, I'm out of here.
I'm afraid I must be going as well.
Yeah, I need to wrap this up. My biggest complaint about this game is that it's way too short. With a premise like this, who knows where you could take it? I'll bet you've already thought of a couple more of your own. Let me know what they are in the comments. Whatever the scenario, anything is better than this. Dan Carson does not just sit down and say, oh well, what the hell. He'll go back to the hangar, grab that plane, then fly out and strafe the Zeppelin until it crashes all over the fleet below. He'll do something, but he'll survive. Dan Carson didn't give up. The writers did, and that's why the game lost me at the end. Such a missed opportunity. It's enjoyable as it is, but it could have been so much more. Basically, the whole thing screams low budget. It's also available for the PS3, and I have that version, but I haven't played it. If you have, tell me what you think. I'd like to know if you had any of the issues that I had with the Xbox 360 version. Another question that has to come up when we consider the game's premise is, what about Japan? Did Pearl Harbor never happen? None of that is ever mentioned. And it's a reasonable question because Pearl Harbor was the catalyst that got the United States into the war in the first place. So if we were already fighting Japan, or had already defeated them before this happens, there would be plenty of military might that the army and the rest could haul over to the East Coast and repel the invaders. While we're doing this game at any rate, there seems to be a shortage of American supplies for battle. So that's a big question that never gets answered. For all that, I love this game. It completely froze on me twice while I was capturing this playthrough, and I can put up with all that. The dopey AI, goofy controls, and all the rest, because the game just stays interesting. Again, the world we've built here is so bizarre yet believable, I find myself wanting to understand it more. The missions are believable and frankly exciting. And I like the weapons. There's a good variety, and I like the way we have things like the MP50, which is obviously an updated version of the World War II MP40 that I like so much in those games. Among the improvements, the MP50 has a light on it. You saw that a lot because the light turning on and off is clear evidence of my HTS, heavy thumb syndrome. The Panzer Schreck has been upgraded to the Panzer Strike, which is a multi-shot bazooka with an improved scope. Little details like that add to the believability and keep the game fun. And that's the bottom line for me. This game is just fun. I've played it 3 times and I'll keep on playing it because it's fun. And so is making these videos. But what's even more fun is knowing that you enjoy them, that I've made you smile a little and brought a little lightheartedness to your day. That's what it's all about for me. I'm Irving. Thanks for 300 subscribers, and here's to many, many more.